Hi, I'm Patrick from Fall Out Boy, and I'm here with Backstage Broadcast to talk about one of my favorite records of all time, and it is Michael Jackson Thriller. It's a little bit obvious. I mean, I think a lot of people liked Thriller. It was fairly popular, but why is it significant to me? I think probably because it is so sharp. It's so well done. It's so simplistic and brilliant. Like there's only 9 songs on it, and every single one is completely different than the one that preceded it, but sounds exactly like Michael Jackson on Thriller, which is amazing. That's an incredibly difficult thing to accomplish. I mean, to do something so precisely yourself, that's real art. I think to be able to be in any context and still be you. When I look at The Girl Is Mine and how completely different that is from the song Thriller or the song Beat It or Billie Jean, these are wildly different songs, but instantly. And from the very start of every song, I hear The Girl Is Mine, I hear the do-do-do, that do-do-do. You can recognize that anywhere. Or in Billie Jean, the you could pick that out of a crowd. That's incredible to be able to do that. I defy you to find a more instantly identifiable record by every song. I Want to Be Starting Something. That's like one of the best album openers ever. It's almost impossible to open an album more perfectly. And then the songs that you kind of forget about, like PYT, it's a great song. It's an excellent song. I really like Baby Be Mine. It's kind of like the one that no one talks about, but there's parts of it that are maybe my favorite on the record. That groove is just so good. So, I don't know. It's my favorite record. And, look, Baby Tiger. That's crazy. Why are you hanging out with a baby tiger, Michael? That's not a good idea, but there he is, in a white suit. I would say Thriller is his best album, and I don't just say that because it was his most popular. I say it because it's the most Michael Jackson to me. It's the most succinctly, effectively Michael Jackson. One of the things that I really admire about Michael, and I still, it's in everything that I ever do, is he was very picky about what he put out. So he recorded thousands of songs. He only put out hundreds. Whereas I'm also a huge Prince fan. But Prince is much more experimental. So he'll put out lots and lots of stuff, and maybe every third song you're like, wow, that's amazing. And then there are some songs that are more difficult and harder to get. Michael Jackson was the opposite of that, where he was like, I'm only going to put out. There's 9 songs. I know he recorded for this album. I know he recorded dozens. He recorded lots and lots of music for Thriller. But it's that economy of art, where he knew, only to put out his absolute best. That's so hard to do, and I'll never be good at it, but I try. It's impossible for me to remember the first time I heard Thriller because, it came out in 1982 and I was born in 1984, so I'm sure it was everywhere. But the first vivid memory I have of Thriller was seeing Billie Jean on cable. We didn't have MTV when I was a kid, and my cousins did. And I was over at my cousin's house, and I remember being like, "Whoa, what is this?" And just the dancing and the light when he would step and the street would light up. It was just such an amazing visual. And it's funny too because, it's almost like no one even tries to be inspired by Michael Jackson, because he was his shadow he cast such a long shadow that no one even wants to, even so you never see a video like that anymore. You know, you never hear music like that anymore. You know, I had tickets to see him on the last tour, and obviously he never made it to the tour. So you know, but that's okay because I feel like you know, he's kind of a legend. It's almost like he's almost like a superhero, you know, at this point. And I get to just imagine how good the show would have been. Thriller is one of the biggest single influences on Fall Out Boy, mainly because we can all agree on it. I mean, it's hard to get a whole band to get behind anything, but all of us appreciate Thriller. I mean, it's the thing that's, I think, such a big influence on us specifically is that restraint, because there's four of us. We have so many ideas that we all want to get through, but you have to put yourself in the perspective of, well, when Michael Jackson was making Thriller, you know, he wrote lots of songs, but then he also he sacrificed some of his own ideas for the best idea sometimes. So for example, Thriller, the song, he didn't write Thriller, but Michael Jackson made the song Thriller, you know, and it's important to remember that kind of, you know, lack of ego in trying to make something great. Is sometimes you have to go, well, I have an idea, but maybe it's not the best idea at the moment, you know, like maybe I need to, and especially as a band, maybe I go with Joe's idea, or maybe I go with Pete's idea, you know. And then obviously, I mean, we covered Beat It, and we were just on tour, and I would play the riff. Andy and I would just kind of play it in sound check, and pretty soon we started playing it in sound check, and before we knew it, it was, hey, want to play it on stage tonight? Sure. And the reaction, we've played a lot of covers before, but the reaction to Beat It was so much bigger than any of the songs that we ever did, any covers that we ever did, and so it became part of our set, and we still actually play it sometimes, that's the only cover that we still consider playing. You know, it's almost become part of who we are, is our version of Beat It, you know. So I think you have to listen to Michael Jackson's music, and it doesn't matter what format it's in. I love the experience of listening to it on vinyl, especially because he took so much effort to make it flow properly, right? To start off side one, want to be starting something, end side one on Thriller, then to start off side two with Beat It. Beat It would have been one of the best openings for an album as well, but that kind of strength of understanding of how to make an album it's so important to me, you know, it's so incredible. So I don't know, I think it is great to listen to on vinyl, but you know what, it also works it works on every level. If you listen to it on your Spotify or something, it still will be just as good an album, you know. I have way too many records. I used to work at a record store, so I go home. I have thousands of albums, and I go home. You know, I'm away on tour for a long time, and they're all sitting in this shelf, and you know, I pull them out and listen to them. But overall, you know, they don't get as much care as they used to get. And when I come home, every time I'm like, I need a new shelf for these, because I can kind of see them. I can kind of see the shelf sagging a little bit, you know. It's an old shelf, you know. So,
hey, what's up? We are the Fray, and we've been asked to basically boil down all of the records we've ever heard of all time into one album that we think is the greatest. And we found the exercise to be impossible.
When I was looking for something to save me when I was a teenager, I was about 15 years old, and I met this guy that I basically fell in love with, or thought I fell in love with. He was my sister's boyfriend's brother.